Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Ahlan wa sahlan, guys. Welcome. Hope you guys are having a fantastic day, enjoying yourselves. All right, so let me know if the live stream is working. Let me know. Looks a bit still. Okay. Let me just the internet. See if the internet's okay. Okay, so welcome to everyone. Ahlan wa sahlan. Yeah, I think internet's a bit. Is it okay, guys? Is it? Can you guys see? Can you guys hear? So, anonymous, welcome, guys. My name is Yaqut Zaman, by the way. This is my live stream, and hope you guys are enjoying the videos that I put up. I do live streams on Fridays and Saturdays, so that you guys, if you have any questions, inshallah, I can try to answer them for you. Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah. All right, so my family went for Umrah after Nafal Tawaf. Okay, my family went to Umrah after Nafal Tawaf. They performed 2 rakats, but as Nafal and not Wajib. So, did they perform the Tawaf thinking in their heads this is for the Tawaf? Did they pray the 2 rakats thinking that this is for the Tawaf? And Sufi wa alaikum assalam, ahlan wa sahlan. Sui Yusuf wa alaikum assalam. Is using a miswak in wudu a sunnah mu'akkada? So, cleaning of the teeth. Yes, cleaning of the teeth is considered to be a emphasized sunnah. Cleaning of the teeth. Can you explain the ghair munsarif, please, in an easy way? So ghair munsarif, basically, I don't know. Why is this? Why is this seems so slow to me? Should I change the background? It seems a bit. Yeah, is that any better? Is that? I don't know if it's. Let me just check the internet, guys, because I just feel as though it's just acting a bit slow. That's what I feel. Acting a bit slow. Okay. Can you explain ghair munsarif? 1 second. Technology. This is the side effects of technology. You have to keep fixing it. I'm just trying to go on TikTok, guys. All right. Can you explain ghair munsarif? Okay, ghair munsarif basically means in Arabic. So for those of you guys who are not interested in Arabic, block your ears now. So ghair munsarif basically means if you have a particular word, that particular word, if it becomes ghair munsarif, it can only take 2 types of vowels, a single fatha or a single dhamma. That's it. That's all it can take. When does a word become ghair munsarif? So it either becomes ghair munsarif when it goes into a situation called a super plural. So super plurals are the ones that are plural, and then after the alif you have 2 or 3 letters. So for example, masjid, masajid. Yeah, masabih. I don't know why this TikTok keeps going off. And the second is where there are two causes. I do apologize, guys. So yeah, غير منصرف. The second type of غير منصرف is the one that has two causes. Now, the easiest way I tell people to remember is like this. So you got six, yeah, six fingers. So a feminine alif noon went to the compound of a non-Arab and rendered him into a wasn't fail. A feminine alif noon went to the compound of a non-Arab and rendered him into an alif noon, rendered him into a wasn't fail. So these are the six. If you remember these, then it's just easy. Yeah, so a feminine alif noon went to the compound of a non-Arab and rendered him into a wasn't fail. So if you have a name that is one of these six, so a female name generally, in most cases, or for example, like let's say you have a name that has an alif noon zaida at the end, alif noon, or if you have a name that's a compound name, as in two words put together, like for example, Ba'al Bak, Hadramaut, or you have a name that is a non-Arab name, so it's not Arabic, or you have a name which is rendered from a different word. So Umar from Amir. Or you have a name that is on the wazn of a fi'l. Then all these six are basically غير munsarif. And then if you have wasf, so wasf basically means like a characteristic attribute trait. Alif noon, yeah, so this one, alif noon, and a rendered and a wazn fi'l. These three. Alif noon, rendered, and wazn fi'l. So for example, غضبان, angry, or for example, wasn't fail like mathna wa thulatha wa ruba', a word that has been rendered from a different one. Or for example, like a wasn't fi'l, so akbar, Allahu akbar, akbar. So these three are also ghair munsarif. So 6 plus 3 equals 9. There you have it. This is the easiest way I explain to students. Wa alaikum assalam. Hope you are well, AC. Ahlan wa sahlan. I'm looking to buy a copy of Lubab Sharh Quduri. Is there a particular tab'a you would? I don't know. Maybe best to ask someone else. I'm not too sure which tab'a is the best one at the moment. Can you explain? No. Long time no see. Ahlan wa sahlan, my brother KSK Basha. I hope you're well. Yes, we missed you, bro. Love from India. I hope you're well. All right. Yeah. So that's basically. Okay. I think I know why this is a bit slow. Are vocal only nasheeds halal even if they sound like music? I would say they'd be allowed. There'd be permissibility for that, as long as there's no musical instruments in there. Musical instruments. Ya Allah, hasbunallah wa ni'mal wakil. Yeah, so tomorrow, inshallah, I will show you guys a new book that I have received, mashallah. Do you remember Maulana Hamza Hassan, who used to do the Arabic podcast with me? So, mashallah, he's translated a book called Al Ajwabatul Fadila. It's a very, very good book for students who are into hadith, usul hadith. I would definitely recommend it. It's basically a book about the 10 questions that were posed to Sheikh Abdul Hayy Laknawi by a scholar of India, and so he answers them, and they're very detailed, really deep questions. So I would definitely recommend it, and I will show you tomorrow the book, and inshallah, I will hopefully read it in this week or something, maybe next week, and give you some insights into what's interesting about the books. Jazakallah khair. Is there any other Sharh of Quduri you recommend? I generally, students, I tell them to read. I mean, look, I have my own opinion regarding Sharhs. A Sharh should not be read unless you need to read it, right? Unless there's a need for it. Otherwise, it's a waste of time. So if your teacher is a good teacher, you generally don't need to read a Sharh. If you're a very good teacher, competent teacher, you don't need to read a Sharh, because Sharh is explaining the text. And if your teacher explains the text, he's done the job of the shara. I think sometimes what happens is teachers mention names of sharas, and then that can sometimes become confusing to the students. Students can think to themselves, I have to read this. My teacher mentioned it. Not every shara is needed. You don't need to read every shara. So generally, students, I tell them if there's like a little complicated masala, I'll tell them look in Lubab or look in Jawharatun Nayyara, or Qasim ibn Qatlu Bughaz, Tarjih, Tasheeh wa Tarjih. These are the three I usually tell them to look at. I mean, you can look at something like Mushkilat al-Quduri or Mudmarat or Sharh al-Aqta of Quduri. I mean, depends how deep you want to go. Why the question you should ask yourself, why do I want to read a Sharah for? What's my aim of reading a Sharah? So you should know your reason for why you want to read a Sharah. And as long as you've got that, then khalas, it's fine. Inshallah. Okay. Ya Allah, hasbunallah. Salute. Ahlan wa sahlan. So would voice effects count as music? So see, the thing is a cappella, which is what is known as a cappella, replicating. This is a blurry area. I personally would say that it's okay, as long as it's not something which like, I don't know. It's very for me. It's very difficult to say because I haven't come to a conclusion on it. But I would say if it's just some little background sounds, then it's okay. Yeah, it'll be okay. That's my view on this. Thank you for your Kuduri lessons on YouTube. Help me pass all my exams. Alhamdulillah, Hawsa Jannah. May Allah bless you and your family. Jazakallah khair, mashallah. Make dua that Allah gives me tawfiq to complete. I've made a special dua to Allah that, oh Allah, please don't take me away until I complete Kuduri. That's my dua I've made to Allah. So I really want the Kuduri to be completed. I think it'll probably be the first of its kind on YouTube, the way that I've explained it, with the annotations and all that. So make dua that Allah gives me tawfiq to complete the whole Kuduri, inshallah. Could you talk to us about Surah? No, I can't. Leshat Noah. Leshat Noah. Can you talk to us about it? Because it seems as though you seem to be, I think you asked this question quite a few times. You want to try and find some controversy in Islam. Yeah, brother? So I'm sure you can find explanations of these online. What I would suggest is, you can check out, you can have a look at Ma'arif al-Quran, inshallah. If you don't understand something there, then inshallah I can try to help you, inshallah. Ya Allah. Salaam alaikum salam. Abu Ali, what's the Hanafi position on pirating? Is it considered intellectual property? The thing is, Hanafis don't have anything about this in the classical works. So this is a new thing, and Hanafis don't really have anything about this. Generally, mal is considered to be something that's tangible. But of course, this is something new. So Mufti Taqi Usmani, obviously, his position is that it's not allowed. You're not allowed to pirate it, if it's if it's benefiting from financial reasons. So if you are pirating something to sell it off, then that's not allowed. But if you're copying something, not for personal use, then I wouldn't see a problem with that. A fixed home alternates between her two sons' houses in different countries 6 months. If she stays in one place for less than 15 days, should she pray qasr? Yeah, good question. This is. I would generally say that she should pray the full salat. If she's going to stay, if she goes there, she's going to pray her full salat because she's considered to be. I mean, if she's permanently made that decision that 6 months here, 6 months there, and she doesn't have a fixed residence of her own, then yeah, she's a resident in both places, so she prays full salat there, here and there. منور أهلا وسهلا حبيبنا نوركم الله. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. صديق الحبيب شريف صاحب क्या हाल है मेरा दोस्त? What's the latest in New Jersey, bro? What's Philly saying? Yeah, Allah hasbunallah. Yeah, so inshallah I will be showing you a new book that I've recently got hold of. Inshallah, it's a translation so that you guys can check out. Inshallah, it's probably one of my favorite books. Ajwabatul Fadila is one of my favorite books that I used to read in madrasa. Very, very nice. I used to read it my own personal like reading I used to do. I used to enjoy it a lot. I found it a bit hard in some places, but I just kept on reading until it just sat in my head. Will a woman be missing hasanat if she is not going to a mosque to pray? No. For women, the Prophet ﷺ said, "Buyutuhunna khairun lahunna." Their homes are better for them. That would mean that she gets the same reward as a man would get for going for Jamaat. Yeah. So for the women, because the Prophet ﷺ, he mentioned that the rulings for the women is that. So therefore, that would be the afdal for her. Ya Allah, hasbunallah wa ni'mal wakil. Yeah, so this week, mashallah, has been very good. I've actually got a new software. So if you've seen some of my new short videos I've made, where it has this kind of animation in there as well, it's a new software I'm trying out. And hopefully, inshallah, I'll try to make more videos just to kind of see the reaction regarding those videos. With new AI, it's just so hard to keep up with the new stuff that's coming out. I mean, subhanallah, so much. Remember, I was telling you a long time ago, many years ago, maybe like 4 years ago, 5 years ago, that I wanted to make like a video, like a film style for fiqh. So, for example, like it's going to be like an episode where something's happening. It's like an episode, like a drama or something, you can say. And, I'll be showing, like, for example, rulings regarding fiqh rulings. So people can understand how fiqh rulings work, but in a sort of like practical way, rather than having a teacher sitting there on a board writing. And I thought the best way to do it, obviously, people, they like seeing things, so they understand it through. And the production was just too expensive, of course. But now with this new Sora, Sora, Sora that's come out, wow, you can make really good, like real life videos. They look like real life videos, and people have been doing it with Martin Luther King and others. That, subhanallah, you kind of think, wow, look at the technology now. A whole production team that would cost thousands to produce one small episode, now you can literally do it in a few minutes. So I think this is like, you have to be creative. You have to know how to benefit from it, I think. So I'm just still thinking, what are the best ways to benefit from this kind of technology? How would people benefit from this? So I'm still thinking about it. You guys can let me know as well, ideas. But I'm thinking it'll be good for things like fiqh, because fiqh can be practically seen. So you can watch like an episode of something happening, and then in there you can see the fiqh of nikah. You can see the fiqh of talaq, the fiqh of mu'amalat, buying, selling. You can see the fiqh of hajj. You can see the fiqh of wiping over leather socks, and so forth. Yeah, what do you guys think of that? Do you guys think that would be something you'd be interesting to watch? Yeah, I mean, I definitely would be interested in it. I think that's something really interesting for me. But it's just about trying to utilize this technology for the betterment of mankind. Yeah, you want to use it for the good. You don't want to use it for the bad. Yeah, so this is what I've been looking into. Alhamdulillah. Weather's changing. Had to turn heat on this morning to knock the chill. Yeah, the weather's changing here as well. I mean, since the last week, I've been putting the heating on. Yeah, putting the heating on. I actually got to get my windows changed. So, windows. When I moved to this house, the windows were old windows, like many years old, and so they slowly start to have little holes in there, or the plastic starts to bend, and so when the wind comes through. So I'm gonna try to, hopefully before winter comes, get my windows sorted out. Yeah, Saturday. Yeah, that would be good. Yeah, inshallah. I think a lot of people would benefit, because a lot of people, they like fiqh, but they don't like the study of fiqh, because it's very like theoretical and it's very abstract. But practically would be good. But what I would need, obviously, I think I'd need ideas. I'd need like ideas of how to execute it. Right. So what is the scene going to be about? And that's the only thing. Subhan wa alaikum assalam. About intellectual property, even if it's for personal use, isn't it still affecting the profit of the owner? Not see that's the question. The question is that this intellectual property, like for example, there are some people who are making millions from intellectual property, like they're literally making loads. So, to what degree would you say that something is reasonable? That's what I would say. So I would say what reasonable is, if a person's like can't afford it themselves, then that would be considered to be reasonable. Like PDFs. The same thing with PDFs, knowledge, these kind of things. That's how I would look at it. But if it's to replicate it and then sell it off, then I think that wouldn't be allowed. That's how I would look at it. Yeah, so that's how I would look at it. But of course, things like, for example, if I get a book or something, like there's some books which I know I can't afford, right? 10, 15, 20 volume books, £700 books, £800 books. I can't afford that. So I would use a PDF. Yeah. And I know some people would say, no, you should. But if it's a book I can afford, I'll buy the book. So I'll use a PDF, but I'll also buy the book as well. I think that's something which, where is my team today? Team's legged it today. Ya Allah, hasbunallah. How do I- Do you know Anwar al-Awlaki? I don't know him personally. Wa alaikum assalam. Wasn't he well unalived in Yemen by America? Wa alaikum assalam. Connection was bad earlier. What city are you based in? I'm based in the UK, Birmingham. UK, Birmingham. Looking good in white sub. Jazakallah khair. Hello. And I'm sure you're looking good too. Right. Okay. Has the anything visual? Yeah, visual. أستاذ هل يمكنك أن توصي بكتاب شعر يحتوي على قصائد عن أخلاق؟ نعم. So, if you want poetry which is ordered based upon like categories, then the Diwan of Hamasa. Diwan Hamasa is basically a collection of one of different types. So Hamasa is a particular topic. So you can get like a Diwan of Akhlaq as well. Yeah. I mean, generally, what I tend to do is stick to things like Khizanatul Adab and Iqd al Farid. So these kind of generally have topics, sections which are of akhlaq. There used to be a good one I used to use quite often on akhlaq. I forgot the name of it. Let me see if I can maybe find. Yeah, I can't remember from the top of my head. If I do, if you send me an email, and maybe I'll have a look and then I can send you the name of it, inshallah. Alaikum assalam. Have you conducted any experiments with AI with Arabic? If so, how you found? I mean, I use 11 Labs. 11 Labs is a very good one, right? So if you've seen some of my videos, I put up AI ones. The thing is, some people say to me, you shouldn't be using AI. So this is a question I had in the beginning when AI started off. So sometimes I write articles and I put it through AI just to get the grammar fixed and give me an idea of mistakes I'm making and layout. And they say to me, oh, you shouldn't be using AI. Now I've come to realize that actually AI is basically like using a human being. So people use editors to enhance their work. Nearly all writers use editors anyway to enhance their work. And I wouldn't see a problem with that as long as I think you're using it in the right way. That's the main thing. So the videos I make, I use AI to edit a lot now. And some of these ones I experimented with, like writing something up in Arabic and then putting it into the AI, and the AI would read it out. So if you have seen on my YouTube channel the poetry, I've done some poetry ones where I just get a voice to read some poetry, and it's got some English translation with it. So I tried that. That came out quite good. But again, it's very hit and miss with AI at the moment because you have to come out with a good idea and be very creative of how you're going to use it. And sometimes it takes a bit of time as well to get your, get into the flow of things. So I don't know. What do you guys think about AI? Classical Arabic and the sorts. The thing is, the problem with AI, I don't think it can write classical Arabic that well. I don't think it can do so. They even have made a cinematic trailer of the Quran, probably with Surah. Yeah, I mean, they did make one. Have you seen those ones where it's like the Prophet Noah, the Prophet Abraham, and they've made these kind of videos. Those I don't agree with those kind of ones because Islamically, there's very problematic of how they present it. But yeah, I think there is a lot of scope, especially with how things are going now. I think with a lot of people now are not really listening to scholars anymore, as in they rather prefer to listen online to something. Even music now, apparently, even now, the music artists around the world are now complaining because AI is producing better music than them, and people actually like that kind of music. So it's one of those things where AI soon is going to take over everything in our community. Yeah. Alaikum assalam, Grimy Sheikh. I used to watch your Arabic videos on YouTube. Ahla wa sahlan, mashallah. Are you Mufti Liaquat from Sufa? Yes. Are Salafis Athari? So there's a good book. If you want to know about Salafis and Atharis, there's a good book I would definitely recommend for you guys to read. Really good book. Yeah, it's this. Yeah, so this is a book. I think it's very, very good. Yeah, so try to read this book. And it's really, I mean, honestly, it will really open up your understanding to these debates. Just download TikTok. Didn't know you were. Ahla wa sahlan. Welcome, mashallah. I just started a few months ago. Looking TikTok, mashallah. Ahla wa sahlan. AI hallucination is a problem. It presents wrong grammar. Yeah, and it quotes wrong ayats. Like I've unfortunately I've caught students trying to use AI to do their assignments, and the sad thing is that it just comes out with like incorrect quotes. That's the problem. That's the issue with all these kind of things. Alaikum assalam, IDK, ahlan wa sahlan. Welcome. How many bookshelves do you have? I only have 3 bookshelves. I don't have that many books. A lot of my books are on my laptop. Alaikum assalam, my brother Abdul Majid. AI is a tool. How you utilize it's like the whole TV argument in the 80s, 90s. Yeah, I 100% agree. I guarantee this in 10 years' time, everyone will be using AI. So whether you're skeptical of AI at the moment, right, that's up to you. But the thing is, it's just inevitable. It's like Google Internet. Do you believe that jinns possess robotic AI? Wow, never heard of that before. So how would that work then? Alaikum assalam, ahla wa sahla. I just recently picked up a pair of translation earbuds, pretty darn good with the Arabic. Are you serious? Does it work? Yeah. What brand have you got? What brand is it? Yeah, because I've heard a lot about these, especially when you go to places like Europe, where languages you don't know, Spanish or French or Italian, and someone speaks and you don't understand. I remember once I went to Spain and I had to take out my phone and try to type and all that, get translation. I went to Afghanistan, and over there there was a guy who was speaking Persian, and couldn't speak Persian, so I got ChatGPT, the voice one, to translate between us, and it was quite, we were quite surprised at how I did it. What's the Hanafi ruling on finance with no interest but other small fees? It all depends on. See, the thing with these, it all depends on terms and conditions. So theoretically, it could be allowed, but it all depends on exactly what are the terms and conditions in the contract. AI will create hybrid of robot human. Oh, the Ya'juj Ma'juj are going to be a hybrid. Never heard of that one before. Interesting. You guys today, what you guys on? What have you guys been eating today for Juma? MashaAllah, Jazakallah khair, my brother Abdul Majid. May Allah put barakah in Abdul Majid's life, in his family, in his work, in his health, in his riding, cycling. Save him from calamities. Omar, wa alaikum assalam. When Yusuf alayhi salam sought refuge from that woman, does that mean that all men are weak? Now, it's not necessary that we understand from that all men are weak. We understand just generally from a hadith as well. The Prophet ﷺ has mentioned. It's the thing is, look, if you look at it from a biological point of view, a man has been designed for a woman and a woman for a man. So you are definitely going to get attraction between the two. That's something inevitable going to happen. Some men are going to be attracted to certain things in women, and some women are going to be attracted to some other things in men. All of these things are inevitable. That's how we have been designed. That's how our brains function. That's how our we're going to procreate, basically, because we have to have some level of interaction, attraction rather. So yeah, so men generally are weak in that sense. That's their weakness, and some men might be weak in other things. Some men have weaknesses when it comes to sports cars. Some men have weaknesses when it comes to maybe other things, wealth. Yeah. So that's the AWO. One of my friends said to me, the Prophet ﷺ is made from light. Could you? So what do they mean by made from light? Do they mean that he's not flesh and blood? If that's that, then that's wrong. That's totally wrong. But if they mean it metaphorically, as in made from light, then it's fine. Yeah. Because the Prophet ﷺ, he was born from a mother and father, which means that he had flesh, bones, and all of that. So to say that he's made from light, you need to have a categorical text to say that he's made from like angels are made from light. And then to say that he's made from light and he's not made from flesh, then that is considered to be problematic. It clearly goes against what the Quran says and what many of the narrations say as well. So we have to be very careful of how we word these things as well. Lubna alaikum assalam. I'm from Indonesia. You made a video in Indian subtitles. Do you understand Indonesian too? No, I don't understand Indonesian. I use a translator for that. So I have to use translation in my phone to translate. I stopped doing that because I realized when some people are actually reading the translation, they realize that, oh, this is not the proper translation. So I don't know. I mean, do you think I should continue making the Indonesian translation, or is there any point in it or not? Have you read much of Sheikh Abdul Hayy Laknawi's? Yes, mashallah. I've read quite a few of his works, alhamdulillah. His works I enjoy from the later Hanafis rather. From the later Hanafis, his works I enjoy a lot. Yeah, his works I enjoy a lot. I really miss the way you used to teach Arabic in slow style. I still make them, MWK. I still have them on my TikTok. I think I made one yesterday. Was it yesterday? Maybe yesterday. They say that they are working on creating a medium for these jinn kind of forces to operate on AI. This will be a destruction for humanity. Okay. I don't know. No idea about that. I mean, I don't know exactly how the physics of that works. How the physics of that works. But I mean, it's a good conspiracy. It's a good one of those kind of theories out there. Also, Sheikh, is it true that Sadr Darai is NI5 a Hanafi thing? NI5 do you mean not? Was that meant to be not? If you mean not, then yes. Hanafis in their usul works, they don't have a section on Sadr Darai. But when it comes to fatwa, like issuing a fatwa, Sadr Darai can be used. So when a mufti, for example, sees a particular thing, he might be able to use a fatwa like in a situation. Like, for example, some of the muftis gave a fatwa of prohibition of selling the land of Palestine like 100 years ago because they saw that a lot of Zionists were buying up land and they issued a prohibition. So it's not in the text. I mean, from a text point of view, it's totally allowed. So this is like Sadr Darai can be used in certain ways when it comes to fatwa. So you might see some muftis that issue certain fatwas based on Sadr Darai. But again, it's not in the usul works. So it's not a core thing in the Hanafi school, but it might be something used personally according to a particular mufti. Hand bled like 50 pence size, was working, just put sanitizer on and rubbed. Was told hand is dirty. Yeah, so you have to wash. Basically, you have to wash it, pour something over it so the blood goes off. So even if you cleaned it with the tissue, you still have to wash it. Yeah, you still have to wash it. Alaikum assalam, Arif. Some Christians claim Allah's Yusalli ala Nabi means Allah pray on Muhammad. How does no, it doesn't mean that. That's incorrect, guys. So Yusalli ala nabi means Allah sends down blessings upon him. Just like ulaika alayhim salawatun min rabbihim wa rahmah. Yeah, salawatun. So there's a famous tabi'i called Mujahid, and he has a famous saying in which he says basically that when salat is attributed to Allah, it means rahmah, and if it's attributed to the angels, it means maghfirah, and if it's attributed to humans, it means dua. So again, this is one of those things where what happens with non-Muslims is they obviously have tunnel vision in how they want to attack you in these kind of things. So the Islamophobes, they use these kind of tactics where general public don't know. I remember there was a famous debate with Ahmed Sida, Ahmed Dida. Ahmed Dida, once someone said to him that your Quran says the Trinity. Now you see, if you don't know Arabic language, you can actually fall into this. They said, and he said, how? He said, because it says Bismillah, Allah, the Father, Ar-Rahman, the Son, and Ar-Rahim, the Holy Spirit. So you're trying to use the three thing to superimpose it onto proving his own creed and ideology. Now, obviously, if someone's a Muslim who doesn't have any understanding of the Quran or Arabic language, they can easily say, "Oh wow, look at that! I didn't realize that three and three and put three and three together." And he responded and he said, "No." He says, "Allah is Allah, Allah is Rahman, Allah is Rahim. They're not three entities. This is just a description of Allah." So, but you people, he said, you believe God, for the Father is a separate entity, the Son is a separate entity, and the Spirit is a separate entity. Blood dispersal. How? So Hanafis basically say once something impurity goes on a surface, that surface is tainted until it's washed off. The only exemption they give is if the surface is a non-porous surface like metal or glass or plastic, then you can simply wipe it off. That's what they say. So water has to clean it basically, or some liquid stuff. Like if you use a wet wipe to just rub over it, that would be fine. But the thing with the hand sanitizing gel, what that does is simply just spreads it. All that does is take the najasa. It hasn't taken it away. It just spreads it over the whole hand. So the color has gone, but it's just spread. It's like urine. The person urinates on their hand, but don't do it. And then put sanitizer. Maybe the smell will all go, and it looks like it's gone. But this is all considered to be impure. A ratio. Do you think working at a women's section of clothing store like Primark is halal? Possibly. Yeah, maybe. My brother Tyson, wa alaikum assalam, mashallah. My cousin Tyson, what's up, bro? What's the latest? How's your desk? Have you got any new gadgets? Not sure. Amazon deal day picked up two different brands to test. The lower end ones seem to use the same two apps. We'll be upgrading to Time Kettle brand. Okay. Let me know how that works. What do you think of Bitcoin and crypto? I mean, is that like, are you asking, is it halal, or are you asking what's going to happen in the future of it, the predictions? Shaykh, any books you would recommend for Adabul Arabiya? Yes. So there's a collection of 5 books that I would definitely recommend for students to start reading. And I give this to my students as well, and they actually get tested on it as well. So these are basically very good books for where is it? These are very good books for anyone who wants to develop the Arabic as well. They are a bit challenging. I won't say they're very easy, but they're very good. How the Arabic is, it's if you can master these, then five parts. So it starts from easy and goes to really advanced. They even just transcribe a translation. Wow, subhanallah, look at that. Now you can listen to a sheikh giving a talk in Arabic, and you can understand what he's saying. Maybe if he doesn't make mistakes, if the device doesn't make mistakes. Ya Allah, hasbunallah wa ni'mal wakeel. What's your opinion on women in masjid? I know Hanafi position is strict, but it's necessary to say. So the thing is, look, what we have to understand when we read Hanafi books, we have to understand what, what is the Hanafi text actually saying? Like, is the Hanafi text saying all mosques around the world until the day of Qiyamah, it's disliked for women to go for the fight? Is that what it's saying? Or is it saying in certain situations, like it was written in the time of obviously 1,000, 200 years ago, and it's saying in them days, the way the mosques are set up and the way they structure and the way the entrance works, and there's no microphone there, so women have to be very close to the men to hear the imam, and all of that kind of structure is something which is not right, because in them days women were being harassed by guys on the streets when they would go to the mosque. So when we understand fiqh, this is very important. I mean, a lot of people when they study fiqh, they don't understand the societal impact on fiqh when it was written and how that makes a difference. So I'll give you an example. Hanafi fiqh, they say this. They say if water goes in the ear, if you're fasting, it doesn't break your fast. But if oil goes in your ear, it breaks your fast. It's in Quduri, it's in the texts. But now we've understood that actually this is based upon a misunderstanding in their days, which their days they believed that between the ear and between the throat there's a channel. So now we understand there isn't. So this masala is not based upon an ayah of the Quran or a hadith. So we're not saying na'udhu billah that the ayah was wrong or hadith. No, we're saying the humans that existed 1,200 years ago, tabi'een, not the Sahaba, we're not talking about the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, we're talking about those individuals. It's possible for them to make an error in the ijtihad. Why not? And I'm not saying the masjid issue is an error. What I'm saying is you have to understand the context. So I would say this now. If there is a masjid, it has facilities for women, there's separate entrances for them. Women are not being harassed on the streets and they have access to the microphone, etc. I wouldn't see a problem with it. Yeah, I wouldn't see a problem with that. That's the thing. So I think sometimes when people study Hanafi fiqh, this is why it's very important to study Hanafi fiqh with context. Tariq al-fiqh is very important as well. The context of what was happening politically and the societal changes that were taking place. In Bradford, my family has to go to a Salafi mosque for women, and unfortunately, I've heard that so many times. I mean, I remember, these kind of situations where people would say to me, they went to a particular. I'm not going to mention names of mosque, but there was a particular mosque in, you know, if I say the city, everyone's going to know what mosque is. So they went to a particular mosque, and they actually said, "No, we don't have facilities for women, but if you go across the road to a restaurant, they've got women facilities in the restaurant." Now you imagine. There's a purpose-built mosque, massive, loads of space. All they have to do is allow these traveling women to go into one room and pray. They're saying, no, you can't. It doesn't even make sense. Like, Aqal stops there. But they say it's okay to go across the road to a restaurant and ask them, can I please use your prayer facilities upstairs? So sometimes people, I think they become almost like dumb. Like, there's a famous book called Dumbing Us Down. I think some Hanafis, they dumb us down. I'm not talking about the famous imams. I'm talking about people who they don't want to understand the implications of how Hanafi fiqh works. How are you? May I ask you where you studied? Yes, you can ask me. I studied in Pakistan, in Karachi, in Jamia Ulum al-Islamiyya, Maulana Yusuf Banuri's madrasa. I studied there for 9 years or 8 years, and 1 year I did iftar. Sheikh, could you argue it's more of a fitna going to a mosque nowadays for women? It could be. I mean, Tarawih, I've heard like in East London mosque, there was like cases where men were like whistling at women. They would try to kind of stand where women come out of the exit. I think these kind of things have to be taken into consideration. I agree. There are situations where men have to be told off. Like, there's some guys who don't come to normal, but they're just kind of looking at eyeing up the girls that are going to the masjid. This is totally wrong, permissible. That's why in the past would say they shouldn't go. But the question is this. Now, imagine, for example, like someone says, I'm a single mom. The masjid is the only place I go to that gives me peace in keeps me stronger, my iman. Imagine someone says that to you. What do you say to them? No, sister, stay at home, sister. I've heard this from people. People say, the only place that I get solace, I'm a single mother, I don't have any family, I have to bring up 2-3 kids. And when I go to the masjid, this gives me peace in my heart. It gives me a connection to Allah. And I don't find it anywhere else. This is what I would say. I mean, and it's sad that we can't control the circumstances of our society. And it's not like Baghdad 1000 years ago where there was a government and they were providing funds for women and there was facilities for them where they could study and where they could interact with other women and learn their deen. Unfortunately, we don't have those luxuries. So we have to understand exactly how society has changed from one place. This is something we actually do in iftar. So when we teach iftar, we actually try to get the students practiced in training them up in understanding difference, societal differences as well. I'm from East London. The East London situation was youth, hormonal teenagers. Yeah, and people, I mean, imams have to tell their youth these are very important things. I mean, why don't why is it that the guys who are doing these things, they don't do this in Asda, they don't do this in Tesco, but they have to do it in a mosque where it's your religion? People need to, I mean, parents need to train their sons about, respecting women. I think that's very important. It starts at home. If a parent teaches their children, their especially male children, about respecting women, honoring women, and this is going to be tomorrow's mother of the community, a lot of guys I think will have that accountability in their heart. What do you guys think? Was that madrasa run by Mufti Taqi? No, no. Mufti Taqi's family runs a different madrasa called Jamia Dar Ulum Karachi. Thought you UK graduate. No, no. I'm still in the UK. Alaikum assalam. Please, can you answer? In Surah Hud uh, has a fatha after an. Surah Hud has a fatha on an. Should it not be jazm on ya? Okay, what ayah is this? 1151. I have to check. I'm not a hafiz of Quran, so. Surah Hud. Hud 51. Okay, يا قوم لا أسأل أي أجر إن أجري in. So this in is basically in nafia. We call this in nafia. It's like laysa. So it's not in jazima. Yeah. So like, what's the ayah? It's in kullu nafsin lamma. Or is it in kullu nafsin lamma alayha hafiz? Is that correct? In kullu nafsin lamma alayha hafiz. Same thing. It's called in nafia. Because they see women who they see as marriage and material, but go about it wrong. It's not related, yeah. So it's in nafia. In nafia. It's called in nafia. Ya Allah. Ya Allah. Hasbunallah wa ni'mal wakil. Okay. Wa alaikum assalam. The saying of Uthman ibn Affan that a Muslim has 50 or 5 or 6. That a Muslim has 5 or 6? What? Appears is that an athar or hadith? That a Muslim has 5 or 6? Is that? اللهم صل على وسلم على نبينا Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Salam Ustad, when is the best time for praying with that? Best time is just before Fajr. That is the best time if you can wake up. If you can't wake up for before Fajr, the Hanafi say then before you go to sleep. You're welcome, my brother. Dot Tarkib, amazing. Alhamdulillah. Jazakallah khair. Make dua that Allah gives me tawfiq to make more of them. Yeah, I would personally like it if people get trained up to be able to do these kind of things. You know what I do? I train up my Quduri students. So I teach Quduri students and the full-time and part-time. I train them up to teach how I teach. Like, using the board, annotation and all of that. I want to get them because I personally believe Quduri is a Mazloom book. What do you guys think? Fiqh is a Mazloom book. And, if the teacher doesn't even use the board when teaching fiqh, what is that teacher really doing? No offense to. But I personally think fiqh, like 80% of fiqh, I would say, is very, very abstract for the average student. 80%, I would say, because they'll never come across it in their life. They'll never come across it. Like a Rahan, for example. How many students come across a Rahan? How many students come across Masail to do with Seer? How many students come across issues relating to, Ayman and Nudhur and Very, very few. So I personally think it's very important to make fiqh more enjoyable for the student. If students understand fiqh, I personally think they will appreciate the deen of Allah 100% without doubt, because fiqh represents the understanding of the deen, isn't it? What do you guys say? Abu Bakr, alaikum salam. Do I have to follow a certain madhab? So you should follow, ideally, you should follow a structured way of looking at Islam. If you're not a student of knowledge, then you follow an expert. You have to ask an expert of whatever problem you have. Don't search for it yourself. Ask the expert. Now, if you follow a madhab, it saves you all of that, right? Because experts have refined the whole concept. So, I mean, I think that's very important. If you're a student of knowledge, then you have to follow a madhab, definitely. Constant Zad Talibin was a headache back in the days. I know, man, I know. 100% I agree with you, bro. من أين بلدك؟ أنا أصلا باكستاني لكن أنا ولدت في بريطانيا. أنا أريد رقم. أنت تريد رقم؟ رقم ماذا؟ What do you teach, Ustad? I teach lots of books. Yeah, I teach many books. Mostly my books are all fiqh related. Usul fiqh, fiqh related. That's the main kind of thing that I focus on. So Kuduri, Usul Shashi, Hidayah, Fiqh Muyassar, Tuhfat al-Tullab. That's the main kind of thing that I teach. Alaikum assalam, muhib, ahlan wa sahlan, ahlan wa sahlan. Anyway, guys, I think I'm going to call it a day, guys. Jazakumullah khair for everyone tuning in. May Allah bless all of you guys. Tomorrow, inshallah, tune in at 9:45 at night time, UK time, inshallah. I will have a live stream then. I will also show you my book as well that I've received. And hopefully, inshallah, you're going to enjoy it. So it's a commentary of Ajwabat al-Fadila. So it's a translation of Ajwabat al-Fadila into English. I'll show you, mashallah. Maulana Hamza Hassan has translated it, with the same Sheikh Hamza Hassan who used to come on the Arabic podcasts in the past. Ya Allah, hasbunallah wa ni'mal wakil. Nasamat Sharh al-Manar. Is that Nasamat of Ibn Abidin? Yeah, I've read through it. I haven't studied it. I've read through it. Yeah. It's good. It's okay. Okay. All right, guys. I will. Okay. Is it permissible to wear? Thank you. A fully maroon kurta? Yes, I wouldn't see a problem with that. As long as it's something, a color which is normally worn by men in that society. As long as it's a color that's normally worn by men, there'd be permission for it. All right, guys.